And Mark will be recording, so if you don't want to be immortalized as a student of Scottish country dancing, you can turn off your camera and keep quiet. And if you don't mind being a part of history, then welcome. So the reason for tonight's topic, and I'm not going to ask everybody to get up and dance. I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit with Catherine and talk about dancing and invite questions and discussion for one particular figure, for the Allemande. And the reason for that is Paul, who's not with us right now, but it's being recorded. I mentioned that, so we'll just ask him to refer to that. Paul wanted to know some specific information about the phrasing on bar 6, which is the fun part in Allemande. But that's not a whole class, so we're going to do the whole Allemande, and we'll get maybe half a class out of it. And that's all we need to fill tonight, so perfect. I guess let's start just by referring to the manual, since we're in a more kind of academic-y mode than a real dance class mode. I have the current edition of the manual here, or I have a page of it here to share. Come on, Zoom. So here we are. Allemande starts from the middle. So however you get into the middle is always something that happens at the end of the prior phrase. Some hot shots like dancing in on their left foot. I think that's not really official, but you know, it looks nice, so I often do it. Both couples begin with a diagonal step forward and to the right. And the first man has to then stay almost in place while his partner wheels across. This is usually an area of challenge and difficulty, right? People want to go way up. And just the way you lost my feet on the screen right now is exactly what happens in the dance. People run out of space, people run out of time, because the key important thing is that really that all of the couples end up turning and facing down along the men's side on bar 4 so that they can take a nice step. Actually, the first couple on bar 4 is taking that nice step, and the second couple's sliding into place. I'm not even going to talk about 3 and 4 couple Allemandes, right? But challenges are similar. And then we get up to bar 5, where we all turn into a line and face. So we're going to end up doing this way and that way. But I'm going to switch orientations for that. Let's just start now by demonstrating facing the camera and talking and emphasizing what I'd like everyone to be paying attention to is the way that we wheel across the set together. And we'll do this a couple of times.
Justin, quick suggestion. Why don't you stop sharing? Because we'll see more of you and less of the RSCDS manual.
Good point.
Good point.
Val gave me a second to make sure my Bluetooth was still connected. So thank you. Cover me here. What did I use?
And we can probably even spotlight.
Got that already.
You got? Good. Okay. Thanks, Mark. So this is first place. This is second place.
I hit the wrong thing.
And as noted, it begins inside the set.
I don't know how the volume is. What are we? We're first couple.
Yep, we're first couple. Well, go ahead and play a little bit, see if people can hear.
Can you hear that? Nope.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, pause. Oops, no, that wasn't pause. This stupid thing. All right.
think that might be enough for the moment. I want to talk about faults. I want to talk about what went well, what didn't go well, right? The size of the set, right? I made this too narrow. It wasn't my footwork that was wrong. I just made the set too narrow, right? Okay, so the main thing I wanted to try to communicate about this, though, is really for this person, whoever finds themselves on the left, after that diagonal step, they really don't go forward at all. It's just here. Catherine, do you have anything you want to throw in? We have.
Well, I think it's nice to look at your partner, which we did. They can hear me. I'm
Watching.
watching all the screens. I think it's nice to look at your partner as you go through it, which we did.
Yeah. Another part of all of this is our relative position. I'm not right next to her. The person on the right really needs to be a little bit ahead of the person on the left, right? So the gentleman is behind a little bit. And I think we all know not to rest your arm on your partner's shoulder. Yeah, if you do that, then this is an appropriate response. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
So I was going to put it in chat, but since you asked, bar 1, out diagonally forward. Bar 2, wheel. So, and I think you've just asked, so where do you advocate being as you're literally looking straight across the set? You seem to be going for the center line, which I've always liked, but I've heard some teachers say you just wheel having come out to the ladies' side and then use the third bar to go right across and face down.
You really need to be coming up on the men's side. And let's read the text.
It's ambiguous.
But because that second couple is coming up behind you, you really can't linger in the middle. You need to be clearing the path so that they can do their wheel across. So, and of course we have an authority. So Ellie, don't, I won't be insulted. So bar 2, first man wheels round to the left, bringing his partner beside. She can't get there by herself. He has to bring her. Bringing his partner beside him to face the men's side. Okay, so yeah, you're right. That is ambiguous because you're facing the men's side from where? From the center line, or from along the men's line. I'd say you're approaching the men's line at that point.
Yeah, the third bar is step across to the men's line, so you're clearly not all the way there yet.
Yeah.
In bar 2, but I think it's
but the goal is not to be an impediment to the twos who are following up behind you, and
Take care of
you could follow the letter, I think, if you went this way and like that, and stayed just bang in the middle, and even maybe across to the ladies' side a little bit there. So you have to go all the way across on bar 3. But if you do that, you're going to have a harder time facing down and being ready for a good strong step down the set on bar 4. So,
But I think the other thing, and probably why it's not real specific, because this would feel a little different in QuickTime and Strathspey, is that if you're on the right side of the Allemande, getting all the way to the middle, I have a much longer track. So for the person on the inside, just pivoting on the women's side, they don't have anywhere to go, but I already do. And so especially in QuickTime, you're probably not going to get as far. In a Strathspey, I can take a nice big step and probably get all the way to the center line. But
before Ellie opines, the other thing is, like, I know you said you would say it, but it's also more challenge, of course, in the 3-couple Allemande.
and it's
It
right,
is.
it's different.
But anyway, seems to me that you do what I like to do, but I've heard come to the middle line, but other people said other things. I better shut up and let Ellie opine.
Well, I know that when I was first taught it, one bar was out to the side, one bar was wheel and get across, and then it was 2 to go down the side. And that went away a long time ago. And I think the coaching that sticks with me as being the most comfortable is out to the side, wheel and start across.
Mhm.
So it's not cut and dried, you're on the side or you're on the other side. You've wheeled and you're beginning across. And I think that's to get away from people wheeling and stopping and then trying to get across in one bar. So you wheel and you start across, and then on bar 3, you finish going across and you wheel to face down.
Yes.
And that lets the twos do their thing.
It would seem that there's some leeway for the first couple to pick how far across they go. But whatever they do, the other couple or couples have to follow that lead and do the same.
Within reason. I mean, if you have somebody who just does not step well and they know how to compensate for that, and the way they compensate for that is that their diagonal step forward is like this, which maybe is technically a little bit diagonal, but it's small, right? We're not going to constrain the twos to stay exactly in line with them. In a demo set, we might, but in a demo set, we probably aren't going to have somebody who can't step. Right?
So how flat do you make the figure at the top?
Well, a lot of that depends on how much time you need to kill, right? So right? So if we have all kinds of time and it's a nice luxurious stress bay, or maybe maybe our space is constrained and we're dancing in Pinecone's living room, right? I'll end up dancing as far up as I can before I face down. Did that answer the question at all? But for the man, it's almost always going to be pretty darn straight and small, because the person on the right is at the end of that lever.
Yeah, you don't want a big swoopy thing. I think of it as being quite flat. A teacher who used to teach down here, Carol Porter, used to stand at the top and say, "This is where the alligators are."
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
That's
somebody
wonderful.
told me about a teacher who would stand at the top of the set, so now I know who that
Now we
was.
know. Yeah, last year I stood at the top of my set at the top of the set at Bryn Mawr and said, "No!" And they still danced forward. But anyway, actually there is one other thing I want to talk about, which is when you find yourself being the taller person and needing an arm to go over your head. You don't really need to worry about this getting smacked in the head. You have their hand. So you can make sure it misses. You know where your face is. You know where your own hand is.
Wait, sorry.
So you'll never, this is a lesson from my karate master, right? You never miss your own hand. And the opposite is true too. You can arrange to never get hit by your own hand. So
You didn't have to duck.
I don't have to duck. Right? I might have to reach over a little bit,
Or you might even have to let go if they're short enough.
right? But you don't have to duck down, right? When you find yourself with a shorter partner. Probably some men would feel insulted somehow, or threatened. Let's see. Let's just dance once more, and then we'll switch angles, and then we'll and
We're
then
gonna go
we'll
back
talk
because
about
that hurts my arm.
You want to be there?
It's
Okay.
easier on my arm. Okay.
I'm the one with the bad shoulder. Are you going to give us music?
Did you say we're doing second couple? What are we doing?
Let's do second couple. Sure. Now the men's line is far enough back. We'll have space to retire, right? about third rear aerial in the retiring?
You go all the way up?
Yeah,
I don't
sometimes.
in country dance.
When
Like,
when my steps are really constrained, I do. Yeah, the manual does not. Yeah, the manual says you can do that in poussette.
How would you do that in?
No, stress pay.
Oh.
Okay. So, right, from second position, if you just remove those first two bars, it all looks pretty similar. And of course, our first couple was perfect. They got out of the way for us. There is one other sheet I want to suggest. This isn't for demonstrations, this isn't for teaching exams, but maybe it's for the ballroom, which is that when you find yourself facing down, this usually is going to be for second couple, and you find yourself facing down here on bar, 4.75 instead, right? And you need to get here, you can make that, the gentleman, whoever's on the left, can make that a little easier by stepping out of the set. Yeah, so, right, then it gets you out of the way of your partner and puts you in a position that you can catch up. So, wherever you are, turn to face in on bar 5, and that may mean that you're doing something like that instead of a real step. Okay, let's do it oriented 90 degrees off, and then we can talk about what Paul really wanted to know.
What did Paul really want to?
Paul really wanted to know on bar 6 how it is that his partner is supposed to solve this problem of swooping through 270 degrees. Or no, it's just 180. It's just 180, right? To swoop through 180 degrees and end up ready to retire. And really that's the same problem that has to be solved by the lady on bar 2, right? It's a very similar
So is he asking about
couple of
feet,
challenges.
or is he asking?
I think that he may have been freaked out that it's on the left because
Okay.
because it seems like a natural breaking point. Usually after a natural breaking point, you start on the right. And then this is a natural breaking point that starts on the left because it's not really a natural breaking point. It's an odd bar, or an even bar rather, and all the even bars are going to end up being left because all the odd ones are right.
Okay.
Do we have more to say about that? And should we face this way
I don't know. I was just.
and present our backs to the camera, or this way and smile at the camera? Let's do this way and smile at the camera.
I don't know which way will be easier for his question. But okay.
Well, that'll be your back. That's better. Well,
I don't know which couple I was.
I don't know which couple I was either. I was just doing what you told me. So hopefully, if that wasn't a good example of Alamont, maybe it was a good example of cooperation. So
That is the challenge.
but
with that.
the main thing that Paul was worried about, though, that we should talk about is on this step into the left. I'm stepping forward. Where are you stepping?
Forward.
Straight forward?
No.
Diagonally forward. Right. So that's really kind of the key thing. If I had the idea in my head that you needed to be placed in certain places at certain times, and I thought this was a step forward, then I might make it really hard on you,
Yes.
right?
But both people do step forward, which is
Oh, yes.
important because we have to get into the middle.
Yeah, but the person on the right, because this is ends up, it's a man's world here, right? And we're centered on the man. So so you step across in order to be centered on wherever I am. Wherever I am is right. And then my partner has to adjust, right? And hopefully I help my partner adjust and don't make it too hard. It's chivalry. Any
Probably a good teaching thing might be to have men practice that. I mean, it's always good to do Allemande from both sides, but that was probably something Paul would want to do at some point when we can all dance again.
Kat, you're
Dance in
muted.
the other role. Semblin, there we go.
I was just agreeing. I find it very difficult to dance the Allemande as a man and as a woman and do it to try and get over that point. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely, it's, I think my first teaching exam, that was one of the things the examiner asked us to do. Maybe that was the first mock exam. It's a blur. Anyway, we all danced with our partners and did the dance and they said, okay, now cross over for the next figure.
That's one of the standard.
Yep, it was good that we practiced, that's for sure. You can't do a good job of teaching it, and you really don't do as good a job as a partner if you don't understand what some of those needs are. You're insisting on a good, strong step forward because you want to make sure that you can retire well. There are all kinds of things that you're likely to screw up for your partner. So, you know, taking away their space to retire is, you know, is really obvious. But this point about how the path they have to wheel through, whether or not they can step diagonally in, is an important one too. And with that, let's see, have we killed enough time? I think just about. Kira.
Can I make one point?
Yes.
And that is, if you stop moving forward on bar 5 as you wheel, you make problems for yourself. If you don't treat that as a halt, but as a dancing through the side rather than stopping on the side, it's really not a problem to get into position.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And
Also,
I think that is directly relevant to Paul's question too.
yeah.
Right? The original inspiration on this, because it felt to him like a stopping point and it was hard for him to start on the left. If you took away the stopping point and just danced through it fluidly and naturally,
Yeah.
he would never lose the momentum. Stepping onto the left wouldn't feel unnatural. It would all work.
Yes.
Good.
Excellent point.
Thank you.
All right. I think Kira is ready to go, so we can mute.
Tell me when I'm unmuted.
You are unmuted and you are spotlighted.
Oh,
We can't
Okay.
spotlight more than one.
all right. I am unmuted now. So hello, everyone. I can't see anyone. Just the way my setup works is I am talking to a camera and looking at Mark, who is looking at you. Mark is waving. We promise. And smiling. There we go. So, I have been, for the past couple months, doing a fundamental series with the New Jersey branch. And basically thinking about exercises and ways to think about figures that you can practice by yourself in your own home that will hopefully extend to beyond the pandemic time. So if people are like, hey, I really want to work on Poussette, but I'm by myself, what do I do? And have it be a resource for that. So today we're going to talk about Poussette. And as if people are welcome to get up, move around, I encourage movement. Questions, if you can put them in the chat, and then Mark can interrupt me for questions, or I'll stop in between at certain times. But I'm more high energy movement for teaching. So since people haven't been up around moving too much yet, I'd like just to do a little bit of moving around the room, and I'm actually going to do it to some waltz music and I'm going to waltz for a little bit around the room, and if you don't know how to waltz, just move to the music if you want to be moving to get yourself a little bit warmed up for some pas de basque. We won't be a full out warm up. We're going to do a bit of a brisk waltz, so the Ode to Joy by Terpsichore. I'll even get a waltz partner. This is Henry. Okay, so just getting ourselves moving, and the reason why I picked waltz for the warm-up, sorry partner, is when doing waltz or couples dancing, you move in a line of direction, which is around the room, you are moving counterclockwise. And while doing that, your body is rotating clockwise. And when you're dancing the poussette, your track is counterclockwise, but your body, until the last two bars, is moving clockwise with your partner. So if you're by yourself, want to practice the poussette, and you're like, I am in, let's see, right shoulder to top of dance, robin or woman's side, second position, because the arrow points down the set. I know the first step is back, but which back? Is it my back or my partner's back? Like, you know that you're going away from the center, but don't necessarily have the direction. So you want to move in a counterclockwise fashion away from the center. And then the next step is like, okay, quarter turn. Which way do I quarter turn? My body moves clockwise, which is a lot of thinking to do on the dance floor, which is why if you're newer, it's like, okay, trust your partner, they'll lead you. But to get to the step of really internalizing it and knowing it, you know, these cues may help somebody. Like if you're used to couples dancing, it's like, oh, I'm moving with my partner. We go in this fashion and retire. So I will slowly walk out the poussette from all four places because it is slightly different from each place. But before I do that, I want to give you an exercise to work on your footwork independent of necessarily the poussette, but we'll practice for the poussette and give you something to do at home. You want to strengthen your calves because it's like we haven't been dancing in a while. Let's do some exercises to get us back to dancing. I guess, are there any questions before I start with the exercise, or are we good? Going to assume we're good. So, when you're always using the pas de basque step, so I have color-coded my feet. I can't brain mirroring for Zoom, so my right leg is green, my left leg is red, and this is always the right, this is always the left. And so it's setting step, starts on the right foot, left, and point, left. Let's do that slower and with words pointing things out. I always teach these classes after a full day of work, which is super great for memory and coherence. So, begin stepping down onto your right foot, left and third in front, step onto that left foot, and down again on the right, letting your foot come out in a jeté. Then spring onto the left, step onto the right and third in front, don't lose your balance, and back down on the left, coming out in a jeté. So for practicing movement with that pas de basque step, you use the jeté to sort of guide where you're going to be going. So a lot of, we have to move forward in line, close in left in front, and then we move back in line, close in right in front. So you can just go forward and back, forward and back. And I'm hopping over the line because it makes it easy to give myself targets when practicing at home without anyone else around. Other skill we need is going to be the quarter turn. So you can go forward and then a quarter turn. You don't move very much, but you change position. And the turn happens as you spring, and the other two beats of the pas de basque get you set. And in this direction, you can go back and forward, back, forward. And when you're tired of that, you can do another quarter turn and go forward and back on this angle. So lots of repetitive exercises to keep you moving at home in a small space. So let's put on some music. I am going to do a very slow reel and do very gentle pas de basque because I've done something weird to my left toe. So it doesn't like me jumping on it, so I'm going to do that a lot. So we're going to go forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, turn. Then back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, turn. So it's going to be 6 bars of forward and back, and then move and turn. So we're going to do a total of 32 bars of pas de basque, which if you haven't been dancing a lot, can be tiring, but good practice. So the music is going to be The Lassie with the Yellow Coatee, which is the slowest reel recording I have, and gentle steps. And forward and back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, turn, back. Back and turn, forward. Forward and turn. Turn. Okay. So, yeah, gets the blood flowing, gets you moving, and one of the things to practice is not only getting a good spring and moving forward and back, but remembering, especially when you go forward, to close in third and front, which is why it's good to do these movements in isolation of the rest of the formation, so you don't have to think about anything else other than closing in third and front. Going to take a quick water break, and then we'll walk out the poussette from different positions. Questions are welcome during water break time.
So I'm thinking about what to do with that foot that was just extended in fourth intermediate aerial in front when I need to reach behind. The
Yeah.
more elevation I have, the less I have to bend my knee. Or I could do swoopy things.
Yeah. And when I was doing gentle Padavaska, I was
Only
getting
not-
lazier and lazier about that foot. Especially since you'll have a partner with you. Sometimes rather than doing it all the way out to fourth intermediate aerial, like I'll move it more to the side so that it's easier to spring back and it has less far to go. Like I wouldn't take it more than here because that would look really weird. But you can definitely cheat it and move it a little bit to guide it for the move back. All right, so stepping out the poussette, and here having the lines on the floor. So this is sort of first lark or first man's quadrant. This is second lark's quadrant, second robin or second woman's quadrant, first robin's quadrant. And yeah, we're progressing, from one position on one side to the other. Since we're moving in a anti-clockwise line of dance, having the lines, you never want to really cross the same line more than once. So like I start moving away from this line, I'm never going to cross that line again. If I haven't gone the correct way. So we rotate and I go across this line. I never cross that line again.
It's like the bridges
Quarter
of
turn. I come to the middle and then it kind of cheats because I'm on the line for the half turn. And then step back. I heard half a comment. Or I thought I heard a voice.
It wasn't useful.
Okay. So, walking with more words, again, from first lark's position, you step back out to the side, counterclockwise, quarter turn. Up or down, crossing a line, quarter turn. Into the middle, halfway round, and 2 little steps to get back. The steps can be even smaller depending on your position. For the sake of my own personal endurance, I'm going to just walk it through and then dance it through from each position, so I don't have to walk it through and dance it through, or walk it through 4 places and then dance it through 4 places, because that's a lot. So poussette as from first lark's place with my hedgehog friend. Let's have a little bit faster music, so we'll do corn rigs. Out to the side, quarter turn. Up, down, quarter turn. Into the middle, halfway round. My partner would go back too, but I feel rude just flinging them. So that's why they went back with me. They would go to their own side. All right, walking and then dancing from second lark's position. And you may have noticed that from the first position, I was being very correct and starting on my left foot, as one does in the poussette on this side of the dance. And that's one thing where thinking about it as a couples dance is helpful, because a lead's first foot is their left foot and the follow's first foot is the right foot. So this side being the lead side helps with the memory of which foot to start with. All right, so now we're continuing, again, anti-clockwise line of direction. We cross a line, quarter turn. Cross a line, quarter turn. Go to the line, halfway round, and 2 little steps back. So demonstrating that part with music and friend. From the beginning is fine. And now we'll go to the other side, which on the Ladies of Robin side, you get to start with your right foot as you do almost everything else. And I'm going to go here because it makes my brain happy that I'm moving slowly around the clock face positions. So again, we're going anti-clockwise, so this first step is back. I don't get to cross the line yet. I just run away from the line. Quarter turn, up or down, quarter turn, into the middle, halfway round, and 2 little steps back. And as it's very similar to what we've already seen, I'm just going to go ahead, dance it, and then go to the last position. New partner, because he's on the other side. And last position is the one that I'm standing in. Almost tried to move away to a different spot. So, again, our line of direction is this way, so my first step is going to be across that line. Quarter turn, up or down, quarter turn, into the middle, halfway round, 2 little steps back. With the music, one last time from the final position. Here we go. Okay, so there is the poussette as demonstrated by one person from each position with some exercises. And yeah, hopefully it's, if you forget how the poussette works, coming back to this video may help you. Or if you want to just work on some exercises because you're working from home and you need a 5-minute break, you can poussette around your living room as well. Yeah, any questions, comments? Want to see me dance with any other friends? The cats are less cooperative, especially flinging them back.
I want to see them dance with each other.
That's harder to coordinate. Mark is the one monitoring the chat, and Mark can see people, so if you're waving at me, I can't see you. If you're not because you feel satisfied, that's cool too.
Okay, I'm going to remove the pin, the spotlight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Delaware Valley class, for having us with you to do this shared class. I thought it was really fun. I hope everyone else enjoyed it as well. In New Jersey, we often like to do random breakout rooms when we have this many people, just so we can have some quick conversations. So we can have more contained conversations. I don't know what you guys usually do.
We usually have some unstructured chit chat time, but we could do some breakouts.
Yeah, we usually don't go, we sometimes go as late as a little after 9, but we tend to keep them pretty short. But we could do breakouts if that, we haven't really done that with ours, so that might be nice.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people are popping out, but
Well, there was
We
one.
still got quite a few here.
Yeah.
Our numbers have generally been much smaller, so we didn't need to break out.
Yeah.
yeah, we were finding when we were over 15 people, it was nice to do a few smaller rooms for
Yeah.
a more managed conversation. As we're falling down closer to 12, perhaps we want to. This might be manageable. Do we want to just give it a try and see how it goes?
Sure.
Sure. We could probably turn off the recording.
I'm gonna move the camera and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop recording.
Oh, yes, thank you.